Well, it's a little later than I normally do a Friday live. Normally I do these in the morning, but it's been an interesting couple of days where I am. We've had some pretty intense storms roll through. It took out power, took out internet, and then I have other duty things that I'm dealing with, and I got an issue at the church where our air conditioning is out, so I've been dealing with technicians and people coming in to give us bids, and so been a little busy, but finally it's afternoon. I grabbed a bottle of water and thought, why not come outside, just have a little chat. Well, by now, of course, you've seen the famous Trump mugshot. None of the other DAs gave a mugshot of Donald Trump because they felt, all right, this is a former president of the United States. Everybody knows what he looks like, and why would we put a president through this? And you had some on the left, the loons, that are absolutely salivating and having orgasmic climaxes that this is it. We finally got him. He's down. He's over. We're treating him like every other criminal, and now he knows what it feels like, and this is a good thing. And it is totally backfired and blown up. D.A. Dillis Willis, whatever her name is not a hero, as she has been referred to by certain people over on PMSNBC. She's played again right into Donald Trump playing 4D chess. And not only is this going to go down as one of the greatest t-shirts ever printed of all time, but you know that Trump scowl with the hair. I wouldn't even be surprised if, he had his hair guy with him, just as they were getting ready to take the picture. And then to put that up on his return to Twitter, which is now called X, never surrender. I mean, I got another caption for that picture. Don's revenge. Because that picture absolutely screams Biden, swamp, rhinos, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for every last one of you. And even if somehow, some way you manage to pull this off and plant me in a jail cell, I'm still coming for you. I mean, this is going to go down as the great mugshot of all time. It used to be like Frank Sinatra and a few other celebrities, but this one's going to go down as the big one. On that level, we want to give it, get him president. On another level, it's revolting and it's disgusting that we are living in this third world banana republic dictatorship. And so let's just call these Democrats what they are, communists. This is communism. This is what tyranny looks like. Everything that they projected onto Donald Trump and said that he would do, they are. He's going to strip you of your rights. He's going to arrest and oppose his political opposition. He's going to take your rights away. He's going to restrict your freedom of speech. He's going to censor you. Who has done all of that? The left. The progressive left, they don't talk anymore about progressive ideals like, free health care, let's take care of the homeless. All they talk about endlessly is silencing their critics or arresting them. That's it. That is the only thing that gets them out of bed and excited to take on the day, is how they can make life miserable for you, get you to shut up, and force you to just go away, to line up and be compliant or become irrelevant and placed in a prison somewhere. That's what the political left is now. You don't hear them talking about even this political season. They aren't bringing up any more about raising the minimum wage or any of the things that they were always supposed to be, the champions of for, quote, the little guy. They have basically determined that they are the big guy, and all little guys, unless you agree with them on everything, you're the enemy, and you either need to be silenced or removed. That's it. And this is all that they're about right now. And so Donald Trump, with that mugshot, needs to be the rallying wake-up call that even if they somehow manage to pull this bullhawk off, he needs to be the first man to be ever elected based on a write-in campaign. I'm telling you, we just need to absolutely overwhelm the polls like never before. And I do think the majority of the American people, they get it. They get what this is about. So kudos for Donald Trump and the way he struck that pose. I am sure, despite him saying, I'm okay and we get through this, he's a human. We've all been in places, and I've been there, where you have been maybe accused of something you didn't do, or you face this endless, relentless, just group of people like, get off my back already and let me breathe. So the fact that he is able to somewhat take it in stride, but you know that it is getting to him, I'm telling you, like never before, we need to not only be praying for our country, we need to be praying for our president. And I mean that. Now, I was watching an interesting podcast last night, and I've watched bits and pieces of PBD, Patrick Bet-David, before. Like him. He makes some great points, and he's coming at it from that, not just that, the fact that he is a legal immigrant to our nation, but he's a self-made millionaire. He's been very successful. But he was doing a great show last night where he was talking about this concept of alliances and how important alliances are. And he put this in the framework, and I thought this was a great take, of Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Who is the GOAT? Who is the GOAT? Michael Jordan understood he couldn't be the greatest unless he had great teammates. And he elevated and said before that he could not have done what he did without Scottie Pippen. And it didn't hurt that he had guys like Dennis Rodman and Kerr and others on his team. And Michael Jordan had this ability to gather people around them and lift them up or pull them up, and they pushed him up. And it all worked out, even though Michael Jordan has this mad set of skills and, in my opinion, is the GOAT, the greatest of all time to have ever played basketball. He knew he didn't do it by himself. LeBron James, on the other hand, who's always wanting to tell us how great he is, always blames his team when he doesn't do well. He doesn't understand the importance of how you build and form an alliance. And I thought that was an interesting take by Patrick David, because he was at the GOP debate in Milwaukee. Now, he said he was kind of watching Tucker on his cell phone, and he's there live at the debate. He said he wasn't really paying too much of attention to much of what was happening during the debate, because really it's like watching the JV team, or I refer to it as, it's like on Thanksgiving, you have the adult table and the kids table, and this is really the kids table. Donald Trump wasn't there, even though Fox is trying to boast of, I think they said they had 12 million viewers. It was half of what they had when they hosted debates when Donald Trump was there. Bum, ba-dum, bum. So they lost 50% of their audience. They're trying to spin it as, we had 12 million viewers. Yeah, well, Tucker had 200 million. You guys had 12 million, and the last debate you did with Donald Trump on the stage, you had 24 million. So you do the math, you lost 50% of your audience. But Patrick Bet-David said that he was there because he wanted to know what were the alliances. And you find that out when they break for commercial. Now, I did not watch the debate on Faux Pas News, formerly known as Fox News. I watched it online. I watched it over on the Timcast. So I listened to Tim and his compadres give kind of like running live commentary as it was all happening and unfolding. But, and of course, they were watching it off the Rumble feed. And every time they would break for a commercial, they would fade the video out and they would just talk about what we had seen, et cetera. And they talked over Mike Pence the whole time. Can't stand Mike Pence. I hate Mike Pence. Even Patrick Bet-David's panel were talking about Asa Hutchinson looks like Mike Pence's father, just old and irrelevant. And I'm not going to get into all of the commentary about what they had to say about the debate itself. I've given my take on it. Vivek won the debate. Trump won the night. It's that simple. But Patrick Bet-David said he was watching during the commercial breaks, because sitting there live, who was talking to who on the platform. And he said every break, Christie and DeSantis were just like this. Think about it. Think about it. They both governors, that governor experience. But during the debate, some people said that Ron DeSantis didn't do anything to break out, but he didn't do anything to hurt himself. I've heard some commentators word it that he kind of blended in. He let basically Vivek take all the hits. A lot of people thought they would be going after Ron DeSantis, but they really went after Vivek. And he took all the hits, and he kind of blended in, and he took zero shots at Donald Trump. But Chris Christie, on the other hand, did nothing but take shots at Donald Trump all night long when he wasn't, going after the skinny kid with the funny name, Vivek. Gee, should we go after the morbidly obese guy that is from Jersey and who thinks he's Tony Soprano when really he's just Fudgy the Whale from the Carvel ice cream shop, which is also based in New Jersey? But I thought it was interesting to listen to Patrick Dave talk about how during the breaks, it was Christie and DeSantis. Now, we all know why Christie's in the race. He's in the race for two reasons. Well, he hates Donald Trump, and he wants to score that knockout punch to take Trump out the same way that he took out Marco Rubio in 2016. Chris Christie is one of these guys who believes his own hype and, really thinks that he is this badass that everybody else thinks he is, and he's not. He's just, a guy who can't practice any self-control. I'm sorry. There was a time I used to be north of 320 pounds. I'm about 240 now, and that's still more than I want to be, and I'm working on it, and this has been a 2-year journey for me. But I have lost in excess of 85 pounds over the last almost 2 years. And still got a lot of work to go on. And the reason I say that is I look at a guy like Chris Christie, and all these years that he has been in the public eye, he has done nothing to try to lose some weight. Seriously. And don't give me any of this crap about gland problems. It's a hand problem. Hand finds food, picks up, inserts in mouth. That's the issue. Now, for me, it took a wake-up call from a doctor telling me I had type 2 diabetes. Like, what? They wanted to put me on all kinds of medication. I refused. Absolutely refused. Whole lot of this every day, eating right, laying off the sugar and the junk food, and learning to, what's that word? Oh, self-control. Self-control. See, if you can't control what you eat, if you can't control this, then that tells me a lot about your character. And so for this morbidly obese guy to be standing up there and lecturing us on decency and right and wrong, etc., etc., shut up. Shut up, you blimp. Absolutely just stop. You have no moral high ground to lecture anyone about anything. So just stop it. But I think we all thought that not only was Chris Christie there because, of his hatred of Donald Trump, but he was also there at the behest of the political establishment, to really just do the hit job on Trump. I think his alliance is Christie. Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis doesn't want to take shots at Trump. Why? He needs MAGA. He needs us. He's not going to get us, but that's the strategy. So Christie's there to take the shots, and, he's obviously vying for, hoping that one of the cable news channels will bring him on as a paid analyst. He'd love to work, I'm sure, at Faux Pas News. They're not going to hire him. So he'll go on as the quote-unquote token conservative on PMSNBC or CNN, and we know how that worked out for Joe Scumbag Scarborough. Christie is what he is. He's ilk. But this alliance between Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie. It's worth our watching over the next several weeks to see what that's all about. And what is DeSantis promised Christie? Because that's really why Christie's mad at Trump. Trump wouldn't give him any type of position in a cabinet or in the administration. And Tucker Carlson asked him about that. In fact, Tucker Carlson went after Christie a little bit on his weight, and then asked him, why didn't you give Christie a job? And Donald Trump said, I just can't trust him. And that he was right. I wish he would have understood sooner that he couldn't trust Mike Pence. Mike Pence was a mistake from day one. And unfortunately for Donald Trump, he had some people in his world that he trusted that were trying, that he thought were trying to help him and guide him, and that he had to bring in certain people that understood Washington to get things done. And that was some of the worst advice he heeded. But he has learned from that, and he knows better. And when he gets in there for Donald Trump, by the way, I'm sorry, I've got 15 mosquitoes attacking me here. But when he goes back to Washington for Donald Trump 2.0, he knows who to trust, who not to trust, who to hire, not to hire. But Mike Pence was the traitor within, and I said it long before January 6th ever happened. That said, there's another alliance being built. And this is another alliance worth watching. Wasn't that long ago, Tucker Carlson didn't like Donald Trump. You look at those emails that came out even before January 6th, where Tucker Carlson said, I hate Trump. I can't wait till we finally don't have to talk about this guy anymore. But Tucker has had a come to Jesus moment, and it isn't about the expediency of Donald Trump or any of that. It is his eyes have been open, and that's why he was fired by Fox News, because Tucker Carlson, more than anyone else in so-called establishment media, was actually telling the truth. And I think when he found out what really happened with January 6th, that was it. The blinders were finally off for Tucker. And now he is absolutely aligned with Donald Trump. Tucker is also aligned with Elon Musk. Now, Elon has never been a Trump guy. But now every time Tucker posts anything, Elon immediately retweets it. Tucker Carlson is gaining millions of followers a month. He's building. And now you have this new media alliance of Trump with Tucker and Tucker's with Elon. Bump. Ba-dum-bump. This is about to get good. I mean, really good. And by the way, not saying a lot about this yet, still delving and looking into it, but my man, Jim Jordan, is opening up an investigation into the Georgia DA and going to look at, stripping this DA. And we need to, stop worrying about when of these trials going to happen. We need the Republicans in Congress to grow some cojones, have a backbone, and do the right thing. Stand up even against the rhinos, stand up against the establishment, stand up against Bitch McConnell and say no, and demand, Speaker McCarthy, demand that you guys step in. Take a lesson from the Democrats. When you're in power, use power. You guys have a way to get involved and get the Supreme Court involved, and you can end this national nightmare of these indictments right now, before it ever gets to a courtroom, before there has to be any more legal maneuvering. Just stop it. Do what you have to do. Just make it stop. Absolutely disarm the Democrats on this one. Make them try to make Joe Biden beat him straight up. Can't do it. Can't do it. So things are coming to a head. I'm going to get a Trump mugshot t-shirt. Maybe I'll wear it on here one of these weeks. And on so many levels, we look at it and it can anger us, but there is hope. And the tide is turning. And it is getting exciting. And by the way, I don't know whether Vivek is a fake, a flake. I don't know. I know this. He was the only one on the platform to land punches on behalf of Donald Trump. So at least on that note, I'll take it. That said, you have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We'll catch you on Monday.